Okay, so this video is has to do with finding the weighted mean or the mean of a sample data that's grouped. So the first thing that you want to do when you have values is to get a midpoint. So basically the midpoint would be 1, 3, 5, and 7. Add up the two numbers, 0 plus 2 divided by 2. You could do it that way, but basically xi is going to be your midpoint. So I've already listed those, and I've already listed the frequencies, and I have the formula for standard deviation up at the top. I don't have the formula for the mean listed here, but I'll go ahead and pull up the formula. So basically the formula for the mean is you take your value of xi and your value of fi and you multiply. So that's going to be our first step, is to do our x times our f basically. So the first one would be x1 times f1, or 1 times 16, which is 16. Your second values for x and f are 3 and 11. So just multiply. So basically your mean is going to be your x's times your f's. So the sum of those. So we're going to sum those up, and I've already done that. I got 616. So the sum of those, and then if you look at your formula, divided by n, which is the n is going to be the total amount of data points you have. So add up your frequencies to get in. I believe I've added that up to get 118. So if I plug that into my formula, I would do 616 divided by 118, and I got 5.220, which I think that the question wasn't about the mean. It was actually about, I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. It was actually about the standard deviation, which we're going to get to. So to do the standard deviation, the first thing you want to do is you want to take each of your x values and subtract the mean, and then you want to square it, and you want to times it by the frequency. So in your calculator, what you would want to do is do 1 minus, I'm going to circle that so I can keep plugging 5.22 in. You want to square it, and you don't want to round, because the example shows that they squared this. They did not round their answer. They immediately times what they got. So if you square that and times it by your frequency of 16, so once you do that, you're going to get 284. Now you're going to round to the third decimal place. So for the next one, we're going to do 3 minus 5.22, and you're going to square it and times it by your frequency. And you're going to get 54.212. And then the next one, you're going to do 5 minus 5.22 squared. And we're going to times that by 35. And you're going to get 1.694. And then you're going to do 7 minus 5.22. You're going to square that and times it by 56. And you're going to get 177.430. So now we have done xi minus x bar, which is the mean. I've squared it and I've times it by the frequency. Now it says I have to sum each one of these up, and when I do that, I believe I got 518.27. Okay, so this number here represents your numerator. Okay, so this represents your numerator. So what I'm going to do beside it is I'm going to write that number. Now to get your denominator, it says the sum of your frequencies, which is the same thing as n, which is 118. So the sum of our frequencies minus 1. 118 minus 1 would be 117. So I am going to take the square root of that. So if you do 518.27 divided by 117, you will get a long decimal. So what we're going to do, I'm going to erase this formula right here. What you're going to do is you're going to round before you take the square root, round to the it's going to be 4.4296, so that's going to have to be rounded to 4.430 or 4.43. And when you take the square root of 4.43, you're going to get a decimal, and if you round that decimal to 3 decimal places, you will get 2.105. And I'm going to double check that one time just to make sure. Yes, you get 2.1047, which is going to round up to 2.105. So this is how you have you calculate the mean and the standard deviation when you have group data. Let me know if you have any questions.